Hello, I have some discs to show you today, so we'll start off with Army of Darkness. So, my friend, the third film in the Evil Dead series, so my friend AP of the Movie Cheer podcast channel, he's been doing a 31 days of horror marathon where you watch a horror movie every day in October. And as part of that marathon, he watched the original three Evil Dead movies, so the Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, and um I brain fart, but basically he hadn't seen them before, and he said he was watching them, and seeing that he'd watch them made me want to rewatch them because I've seen them multiple times, but it had been a while since I'd watched any of them. So I thought, oh yeah, I really want to watch them. The trouble was I had the first two on 4K, but I didn't have a copy of this anymore. I used to have a copy of it, I didn't anymore, and I was in CEX and I happened to see a copy, so I thought, oh well, I'll pick that up and then I can rewatch the three of them, and I did, and I enjoyed them thoroughly. I love these movies. They're so much fun. It's kind of interesting how they change, the tone changes in each of them. Like the first one's a straight up like serious horror movie. It's kind of funny because of how campy it is, and like how bad the acting is, but it's meant to be like a straight horror film. Second one's like a horror comedy, and this one is it's more of a adventure fantasy comedy with horror elements, but they're all enjoyable films. I really enjoy them. The remake I wasn't that fussed on. I do have a copy of it. I need to rewatch it, but I wasn't that keen on it. I really enjoyed the TV series Ash vs Evil Dead. That was a really really fun show. Shame it got cancelled. But yeah, I need to pick up that on Blu-ray or something. I haven't seen it since it was originally on, I don't think. And the new one, Evil Dead Rise, I haven't seen that yet. Looks like again the kind of like the remake is a bit more serious, lacking some of the humor from the second film and this one in the TV series. I don't know. I'll give it a shot eventually. I just haven't got round to watching it. If you're wondering which cut is in this, because this film has multiple edits, there's four main ones. There's the US theatrical cut, the international theatrical cut, so the one that played in cinemas outside of America, the director's cut, and the TV edit. The director's cut they all have stuff that's not included in the other cuts, and they're all missing stuff that's in other cuts, and the director's cut in particular has a different ending from the other three. This particular release, it's the US theatrical cut in HD and the director's cut in standard def. Like, it's an old DVD copy of the director's cut, and it's not the best quality, actually. I don't know whether it's like the way it's been mastered on the disc or the way my player upscales it, but it doesn't look that great. Not a huge problem for me personally, because the US cut is my preferred version anyway. I have only seen that and the director's cut. I haven't seen the other two, so I can't comment on them. But of the two that I've seen, I prefer the US cut. It is a shame that they're not both in HD on the disc. There are versions of the movie, like Blu-ray releases, that have all the cuts in high def. Well, not the TV cut, because it was done for TV back in the day, so it only exists in standard def. But like the other three cuts in HD, and it has all the cuts. And I think the US release from Shout Factory like that. There's a German release that has all of them. I think there's a couple of Australian ones. I will probably pick one of those foreign releases up just to have a version that with every cut. But for now, I'm quite happy with this, because again, it's my preferred version in HD, and yeah, I'm not in a rush to upgrade. But eventually, I would like to get one of the foreign releases with all the different cuts on them. And the next three are all Arrow titles. It's because it's October. Arrow have had their Shocktober sale, where their titles are like reduced, and other retailers have sort of reduced the prices of Arrow titles as well to sort of price match. And one of them I got from HMV, two of them I got from Zavvi. I'll show the one that I got from HMV first. We have The Last House on the Left. This is the remake of The Last House on the Left. The original Last House on the Left it was made in the 70s by Wes Craven, the guy who did Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street. It's basically sort of a rape revenge story. Very controversial. in its day, it was actually banned here in the UK for about 30 years or something like that. It was a very long time. And then I think when it was eventually when it was unbanned, they only released a cut version for a while. It is uncut now, but for a while it was banned, and then you could only get it cut for quite a while. So yeah, very, very controversial. It is a classic film, but very, very visceral. And this is the remake. Nowhere near as controversial. Well, no, but I've heard this is one of the better horror remakes. Like, I've heard this one's actually pretty decent. So I thought, it's an Arrow title. It's on sale. I'll give it a go. This is the Blu-ray version. They released it on 4K and Blu-ray, but the reason I got the Blu-ray was, so there's two cuts on here. There's, see the disc, you've got disc 1 is the theatrical cut, and then disc 2 is the unrated cut, which has all the extra, like, gore and content that had to be removed in order to get an R rating in the US. And the 4K set, the theatrical cut's on 4K, but the unrated cut's still only on Blu-ray. And I thought, well, if I'm watching a horror movie, I want to see the unrated cut because it has all the extra, violence and stuff. That's why you watch these kinds of films. So I thought, well, I'll just get the Blu-ray because I'm going to be watching the unrated version anyway. So yeah, and it's a few quid cheaper, so save some money. It's still the limited edition version with the slipcover and the booklet. That's the original poster artwork, and yeah, haven't seen it yet, but like I say, I heard it's decent, and it's got some of the actors in this became quite well known afterwards. You got Sarah Paxton, Garrett Dillahunt, Aaron Paul, Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad is in this. I think was this before or after? I think was it 2008? Was that the year Breaking Bad started? Of the year, I think. Maybe he filmed this before he was in Breaking Bad, but by the time it came out, Breaking Bad had started. So, I don't know, but yeah. Thought I'd give it a watch. Then now we have the two from Zavi. We have Matinee, directed by Joe Dante. So this is a sort of, it's about, I haven't seen this. I've heard it's good. Basically, John Goodman plays this low-budget, like, horror movie producer. Probably based on William Castle, and he's showing his new movie at a small, like a cinema in a town in Florida, and the U.S. Cuban Missile Crisis is about to start, and yeah, I've heard it's a good movie, very sort of like nostalgic look at like that sort of old 50s B movie type thing. I like those kinds of movies, and yeah. Is the reverse cover. That's the original poster artwork. What's cool about this particular release is it has so there's a movie within a movie, the movie that they're playing in the cinema, Mant. This has the full length version of like all the stuff they shot of Mant, for the movie, like presented as its own like standalone film, so that's kind of cool. There is a 4K of this released in the US by Shout Factory, but that doesn't have the Mant film. I think they couldn't include it because of rights issues, which is a shame. So even though I assume being a 4K, it'll probably have a better video transfer, this one's still quite cool to have because it has the Mant film and a stereo. They spelled stereo wrong on the back. I don't even see it. It's the STERIO. Stereo. I've never heard of stereo. Is that a new sound format? But yeah, looking forward to checking this out. And then last but definitely not least, we have a film that I saw this as a child on TV, and I always really loved it. And watched it again, I think a couple of years ago, and it still really holds up. It's still a really good film. We have The Last Starfighter on 4K. Basically, this is, it's a directed by Nick Castle, the guy who played Michael Myers in the original Halloween, directed this. So it's about this kid who's he's really good at this. He lives in a trailer park, and he's really good at this arcade game. It turns out that this arcade game was planted by an alien who basically used so he could recruit whoever got the highest score to like come and fight in the like become a starfighter in this intergalactic war. And yeah, it's a really good film. Like I said, I saw it as a kid on TV, and yeah, it's really, really, really does hold up. I mean, it's got some. It's one of the first movies to use like CGI effects, and the CGI looks really, really dated. But otherwise, like, you know, the story and everything, it's still a really good film. And it's been unavailable on physical media in the UK for a long time. I mean, it was released on VHS, but it never got a DVD release or a Blu-ray release for the longest time because of rights issues. I mean, it still got shown on TV, and I think you could watch it on streaming. I actually had a copy, have a copy on Apple TV Plus, like that I bought, like a digital copy, because like I say, you couldn't get it on DVD or Blu-ray here. You could overseas, but not here. But I guess the rights issues have finally been sorted because Arrow was able to release it on 4K. Now, you got the original cover. Yeah. And this is, so Arrow released it in the US, I think a year or so before they released it here. And this is missing a few of the special features that were on the US disc. And the reason for that was, so Universal has the rights to the movie in America. Here in the UK, it's Warner Brothers. And some of the extras that were on the Arrow disc were taken from the old Universal's old DVD release. And because those extras were produced by Universal, they had the rights to them. And so Arrow had to drop them from the UK release because, obviously, Universal doesn't own the rights over here. Which doesn't bother me too much. I don't really watch special features that much anymore. I used to watch them religiously when I was a kid, but now I'm like, I don't really care. I just want to watch the film in good quality, to be quite honest with you. But if you're big into your extra features, you might want to import the US disc, even though it costs more, because it does have a few more extras that aren't on here, but there's still plenty. There's mention them on the back. You've got like commentaries and commentary and interviews with the cast and stuff, and yeah, it has the original 4.1 mix originally created for the 70mm release. Pretty cool, because most films, like, they don't tend to include original audio mixes anymore. But yeah, love the film. Ropey, like, early CGI aside, it holds up really well. It's a really enjoyable film. I'd highly recommend it. Anyway, that was the end of the update. Pretty quick for me. I tend to go on for a long time. Some of these updates of mine. But yeah, that's the end of the update. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave the video a like. We'll learn to talk properly one of these days. If you've seen any of these 4 films, let me know what you thought about them in the comments, and I'll see you next time.